Alright, so today I'm going to show you guys how to chop up samples in Logic Pro X and map them to MIDI so you can play them on the keys using the EXS24 sampler. I'll also show you some tools within the EXS24 sampler to modify your sample. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay guys, so once you have a sample, you're going to have a couple different options on how you want to bring it into the EXS24 sampler. They're both pretty easy. So this is the sample that I'm going to be using as an example. So pretty much all you need to do in order to send it into the EXS sampler for you to sample it, you right click on it. You see right here the first option, convert to new sampler track. So by default it's going to send it into the EXS24 sampler. That's the stock sampler for Logic. And you see up here you have two different options, create zones from either regions or transient markers. So regions is pretty much how many different cutoff sections are there on the sample. So as you can see right now, this is just one clip. So if I did regions, it would just send it in as one giant note. Whereas if I went to convert sample by the transient markers, for those of you who don't know, the transient markers are these wavelengths, the ones that stand out the most. So I'll go ahead and click that, and I'm going to set this to the trigger note range. Let's have the first note start on the first C on the keyboard, and then click OK, and boom. So it takes the sample and it goes by transients, and it goes through and chops each one. So now you can listen to this. And it's the same thing, but now it's on MIDI. So if I bring out a keyboard, it pretty much chopped it up based off of the transient markers on the audio itself. So this is a cool, simple way to grab something and extract, very particular parts of it. As you can see, though, it's a little wild in the sense that it pretty much takes every single transient. It's kind of hard at interpreting the sound and determining which transients are the ones that would sound the best at if it was chopped. So you can see there's some little itty bitty guys, which sometimes, serendipitously it sounds cool, but sometimes you want a little more organization with that. Another thing is that when you do it by like this with the transients, it pretty much grabs all the transients and fills up your entire keyboard with super thin strips, which is cool in the sense that you get a lot of different variations because they're all small. But as you can see, it didn't even get all the way through the sample before it ran out of space to put the samples. So a way that I like to do it, undoing that, sometimes I like to go through and manually and just listen through, and if you click Command T while you're selected on the audio clip, it slices it. So sometimes I just go through and do it myself. Every time I see a transient, Command T. Do it this way too. You have the freedom to get experimental with it halfway through, try and maybe get some random ones. Then if you do it this way, where you chop it up, then you right click, convert to new sampler track, and then you go regions because you just chopped it into several regions. So then let's do that. And now as you can see, so it's just a different way of doing it. This way that I just showed you is typically the way that I like to do it. I don't always trust it when it goes by its own transients, but sometimes it's cool to see what it comes up with. Another thing that I like to use the EXS sampler for, by the way, here. So I'll just convert this as a region, even though there's only one region. This is also good for pitch shifting. So as you can see here, if you can see it, where you at though? Down here, way down at the bottom, is the entire note, the entire song in one cut sample. So if you go onto this EXS sampler and you go right here to edit, click edit, you can see that. Where my face? There I am. So pretty much you can see right here this one note, and what's cool about doing it like this is once you go into this edit mode, you can grab this and you can drag it anywhere. So let me start by dragging it to one of these central ones. The reason I'm doing that is now I can drag it in both directions. Here. Now we expand outward on it, and what this does is it takes that clip and it pretty much replicates it, but it scales it and puts it onto each one of these notes. So then I X out of this, save it, and now when I go to my keyboard, it pitched the sample onto every single one of these keys. So this is a cool way of, if you want to pitch shift something or make it faster and higher pitched or lower pitched, this is a way that I like to do it. So you can see all the way up here, super extreme. Crazy that that's the same thing, right? I'm going to use that. So I'm going to make a beat off of that. I'm going to record that so I don't forget it. Okay, I'm going to save that for later. But so you guys see how cool this can be, and remember, it's just right here. You go to edit and you can change this, or you can duplicate notes and kind of do it your own way. Another thing within this is you see right here, this is kind of the effects on the sample itself. So make sure that if you want to mess around with the cutoff, the drive, the resonance, and all that, you click on this. Now I can hear the effects of it. So if I and then just like most other samplers, you have your attack, your release over here. So this A right here, this is the attack. So if I wanted to extend the attack a little bit, same thing with the release. So this is pretty cool, guys. I like to use this very often. This is pretty much how I import all of my samples into my Logic projects and manipulate them. Let me know if you guys sample in a different way, or if you guys have any external type of samplers that you use. If so, go ahead and send me a link of those. I'd be interested to look into them. But for me, this does more than enough of a job, giving me enough capabilities to sample how I'd like to. So let me know if you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, go ahead and hit that like button, crack my back with a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.